do, 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 do. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Rodgon. I am an artist, and today we will draw together. So, firsthand, I'm going to have to apologize if you guys hear my AC going on in the background. It is incredibly warm here, and I do not feel like being uncomfortable while drawing. So, can I draw Dio? Who's Dio? Oh, the guy from JoJo's? My day is it's going okay. So far it's been really, really good. But there's a social situation right now in which I find myself very, very torn. So a buddy of mine, um, he lost one of his kids, and it was well, unfortunate, very unfortunate. And there's a funeral service today for him. Like I didn't even go to the funeral for my own mother because I couldn't, fathom what you can even say or hear in any situation like that. I can't imagine what you would say to somebody that lost a kid. So it's like, eek. So I don't know if I am going to want to go. And it's, yeah, kind of selfish and kind of shitty. But, you know, um, I don't have people to comfort me at the end of the day. So I need to make sure that my mental states are like better than most at any given point. So, I'll probably send my condolences and like my love and my hugs and all that stuff. But I don't know if I'll be able to actually go to the funeral because I just don't feel like being sad for the rest of the month. No, I mean, don't feel bad for me. Like, it's not the situation in which is bad for me. It's a weird situation overall. So, like, I don't know. I want to be more supportive as well. But it's, at the same time, it's like, there's nothing, I don't know the guy that well to be able to give him, like, heartfelt advice that's going to change his outlook. I'm not going to be able to inspire or do anything to him at this point. I don't even know how you can even handle being alive after you lose a kid. But, it's I'd rather just avoid the pain. As shitty as that sounds, I'd rather just avoid the pain. I'm an empathetic person. I feel what everyone feels around me. And that's why I like isolation. Like when you're an empath to the point where you like literally like can feel people's emotions. Being around people that are very emotional kind of sucks because we feel it too. Even if I could be in like the best mood, it's impossible for me to maintain that because you're absorbing everybody else's emotions. So when people are sad, I can tell. When people are happy, well, obviously you can tell most of the time, but when people are just sad and they don't really show it, I can still tell. All right. So today, what should we draw, guys? Can you show the BF 500 robot? Yeah, he's right here. So this is Beefmaster 500, and we drew him in our stream yesterday. And you guys got to name him. And then we talked about how to make robotic parts for each part of the body. Go watch this on YouTube. It's on YouTube. You guys can watch that all over YouTube's. Okay? That was Beefmaster 500. So right now, as I like to start my streams, I'm just starting off with a face while you guys shoot me over some fun ideas of what we want to learn today. Honestly, I like to leave the learning on you because this is your chance to ask questions. This is your chance to ask people as someone that's professional in this industry and someone that will give you the direct feedback. Like if you are just spewing nonsense, I will tell you you're spewing nonsense. If you have a weird belief about something and it's not something that's accurate for the field, I will tell you. And I'm your friend for doing so. I'm not trying to be a jerk. So I'm just gonna be direct with you guys. Can we? Ooh, you guys want to learn how to draw ears? Oh yeah, sure. We can draw ears. Ears are fun. Ears are a very important part in learning how to draw cartoons. Knowing when to add detail, when not to add detail, all that stuff is great. So let's do ears. Is becoming a good artist a God given talent or something that can be learned? It is something that can absolutely be learned. I am a proof of that. I'm absolute proof of that. Uh, I was garbage when I started trying to do this as a career. I was horrible at this. But you know what? I learned to make do with what I had artistic ability wise at every stage of my career. So when I couldn't draw really good, I would use my technical skills, like learning software to clean up my lines because my lines were sketchy. I would use reference and I would use, almost Photoshop at first. It would be like a tracing tool to me. So I learned how to use layers so that I could make something like really ghosted and trace it on normal printing paper, so that, or print something out really lightly, like at like 5% opacity, so I have a ghosted lines that I could follow when I was sketching. So I used my technical skills to improve my draftman skills, and I didn't just give up. I didn't go like, oh well, no, I'm just not gonna be able to do it. I was like, fuck that, that person can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, why can't I? He's not like more like talented than me. Maybe he's done it more than me, but in my brain, you have the ability to create anything anybody else has. Given enough time and given enough willpower, you can do whatever the hell you want. That's essentially my thought process. Like if you can think it, you can do it. It just takes a lot of time and dedication, and how much priority do you want to give that one thing you want to do? There's a reason that I stream 2 hours a day now. It's because I want 2 hours of drawing, right? But I also wanted 2 hours to work on my social media, so I decided, why the hell not combine them? I'm creating content for you guys that you can see every day and you can learn from, and at the same time, I'm practicing my drawing and I'm teaching you guys. So I'm like killing like like 5 birds with one stone. And that's also the reason that I stream here on TikTok as opposed to places like Instagram anymore. Because on Instagram, I can't save my files. I can't save my saved art files, so I can't upload them to YouTube later. I can't make little clips for them for reels. That's stuff that I can do while I'm waiting in the store. I can do everything from my phone. I can speed up the phone, like the videos on my phone, and make them reels. I can do everything. So it's not necessarily that you don't have the equipment or the time. Instead, you just don't want to do it bad enough that you're willing to sacrifice and prioritize learning something over something else. That's simple. Don't go out with your buddies on Friday. Stay home and draw. Don't go to the club. I mean, if you had like a night at a museum, bring your sketchbook. If you have to do anything, and you are going to have downtime, bring your sketchbook. It's really like a matter of priorities, and most people just have those priorities wrong. Okay, so what were we going to draw? I forgot. Let me go look. Oh, we're going to draw ears. Ears. So the ear is a very interesting and complex area that a lot of people tend just to simplify because they don't want to deal with actually having to learn how to draw it. And I am not going to say that I'm an amazing expert at ears. I know how to draw them up to the point where it would look good on comic books. I'm not really concerned with hyper-realistic ears because, in all reality, I don't really need them. So we're not going to go into every single cartilage and every single piece. We're going to simplify it in a way that can look good in a semi-realistic look, or all the way down to any cartoony look. Okie dokes. So when you're drawing an ear, the landmarks that you can keep in mind are the following. First off, if you start with your mask, you And if you're wondering what the mask is, it's literally just a representation of your eye socket into your nose canal. So you get like a little half mask. Okay? And we do this so we can map out exactly where your eyes are going to go and where your nose bridge is. Okay? This also gives you your cheekbones into the rest of your face, right? That's essentially what key elements in a human skull represent the entirety of the face, pretty much. So, where do the ears fall within this range? If we have our eye right here, okay, we have our ear, our eye, we have our eyebrows, and we normally draw all this before our ears anyways, most of the time. So, and that's going to tell you, from the nose, which is at the bottom of the mask, right here, to roughly where the eyebrows are, is normally the distance of your ear. Now, the ear can have a ridiculous amount of shapes, but the problem is that people don't see it like that. They just make little shapes like this, like this, and then they add like a line. But what is that representing? That even something simple like that is representing a layer of cartilage. And then there's a bottom section that would be cast a shadow, and then it would be another, it's like a little tube that goes around, right? So, but it's much thinner whenever you are seeing it from the side. So you have the little outer tube, and then you have your little earlobe inside, and that has a little hook. And then that goes negative space. All this stuff inside is negative space. You know, your ear canal. This part right here is the little earlobe inside of your earlobe where your headphones sit. So a good way of thinking about it is by giving yourself some AirPods or something, like headphones inside. Boom. That's the one section. And then the other section is just a little tiny bridge right here that creates a little shadow in the little pocket on this other side of the ear. Okay? And that is essentially how an ear is drawn. So when we break this down into a profile, let's make this into just like a profile ear. You just have a narrow cartilage wall at the top that goes around your ear until you get to your earlobe. Not everybody has earlobes either, so this part is either with or without. You know, sometimes people just don't have them. Then you go and follow this inner tube into your little earphone holder hook, that little earphone holder hook. Okay? And then you create a little bridge that fades into a little pocket right here. So again, we can make that different dimensions. You can make this thicker, giving the person thicker ears. You can make the earlobe part super high, right? They have the headphone into the bridge. Boom, boom, boom. And then you fill in the headphones. Now, another way, if you don't want to put that much detail into an ear, just simplify it incredibly simple. You're going to take those same elements that we just drew, and the ear can be any shape as long as something like that. You can do this. This is the hook for this. Boop, boop, boop. The earlobe into the little hook. And that's all I normally draw in mine. That's how I draw mine because it's nice and simple and cute, and then it looks okay. You know, whenever I'm drawing, there's no need for me to put that much detail into the ears because it's not a main focus for them, even when I'm drawing caricatures. Unless the character has a very strong ear personality, I normally keep my drawings incredibly simple like that. But it's not about just drawing it simple, it's about drawing it simple and understanding what you're drawing. So now that you understand that there's these little sections to your ear, now you can go in and simplify it in any way you want. What if you just want to add a line? That's it. As long as that line is falling in that right place, it's gonna look good, right? And then there will be a little bit of a shadow here. Boom. So you already know how to shade it because you know that these elements are supposed to be here, but they're just not there. So that is one fun way to see them, and it's going to help you when you see them from the side as well, because when you're drawing from the front, you don't see the ears just stick out like that. No, you don't see like an ear like this. Oh, I mean, some kids do have ears like that, but that's not normally the case. Normally you're seeing this shape in a 3/4 view, so it's more like that. So you're seeing the side of it a little bit, and then this has more thickness. No, turn off lives. Sorry, I don't do those while I'm teaching. Boom. So you're seeing this same side, it's just on the front, and then it just has a shadow inside. So you're seeing it from the side a little bit. Right? When you're simplifying that, just do this. And it's very, very simple. You're going to have your face. Do that. And then just think of this shape right here. The top part will represent this part. And then just overlap the shape so it looks like it's going around. So you end up with something like this. Right? And you can round it out, you can keep it straight, but you end up with a nice little cute, simple representation of an earlobe into a jaw. Now, ears also, as you get older, now let's make a graph right here. Actually, hold on. I have a perfect book that will represent that because I did this whole entire theme for 21 Draw. So I'm going to give you guys a snippet from the book. So if you guys didn't know, I was asked to contribute to the character designer book by the wonderful people at 21 Draw. They asked me to create a whole section about how to age people. And I'm about to show it to you guys. Not the whole thing. I'm trying to show you guys the snippet about the ears. But let me find it. There they are. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a little look. Okay. So this is essentially a style guide as to how to age characters. And it's a 20-something page guide as to how to make a character go from a baby all the way to an ancient person. Now, when it comes down to things like ears, let me make sure that I find the right pages for this. Oh yeah, it's super fun. Like I broke everything down. When I try to teach something, I go nuts, man. I just add. Okay, here you go. All right, so here's a way that you can make something look older is literally by stretching the features below the jawline, right? So in this case, we have a baby, and this is the upper part of the line, as I'm going to show you guys right now. If we look at all these guys from above the line, what do you see? It's exactly the same thing, right? But as you get older, and you start putting your features down, your character starts looking older just by stretching the jaw. Okay? So the same thing happens with ears. Everything starts sagging that's cartilage wise. So the nose and the ears also start getting slightly bigger, if you notice. So, taking that into consideration, as you get older, when you're ancient, when you're like an old geezer like me at 40, your ears, instead of being here, I'm going to draw two sides. I'm going to draw an old guy, an old rod, and a young rod. I'm going to talk a little bit about what makes a person old looking in a drawing. Okay, so let's say that we have some basic features of a human being. Now, imagine this is young rod, young, old. Young rod is going to have a nice perky ears, a nice solid nose with no nothing on it. He's not going to have any wrinkles. He's going to have a nice solid foreground, like forehead, no wrinkles or anything yet, and he's going to look awesome. Right? He's going to have his big wool mustache and he's going to be happy. Now, old rod is going to be a lot more wrinkly. So we got to remember what those wrinkles are coming from. First of all, our ears would sag a ton more, so they'd be a lot longer. So they would go according to my nose. So that's a good measure. As your nose gets a little bit bigger, your ears get a little bit bigger too. So just measure it to the same line. Eyebrows would probably start getting a little bit of white. I'd start seeing wrinkles on my forehead. Probably see the bags under my eyes a little bit more. The eyelids would probably be like sinking into my skull. The wrinkles from my cheekbones would probably start, to hug my bone a little bit more, so it creates these lapses. And then the skin just sags a little bit, so it's not as firm against my chin anymore. As well as gray hair and white beards. Right? So as you get older, things just start sagging more. The skin isn't as firm anymore. And it's just something that slowly drags your, cartilages down. Gravity is a bitch. So when you're old, your ears will be more... If you could add a lot more detail to old people ears and make them look super cool. Like, especially when they're really old and they just don't care anymore. That's when you see people with ear hair and ugh. Yeah, I drew caricatures for a very long time. So you see people of all ages, and it's sometimes when people just don't take care of places like their ears and they have just random stuff coming out of there. It's so weird. Ew. How old is old? I'd say old is about 70 and above. I'd say about 70 and above to me is old. Mostly because I'm 40 now. So somebody about 60, a little bit above my age range is probably old to me. A lot of you are probably a lot younger than that. Probably most of you are a lot younger than that. So to you guys, me at being 38 is probably ancient. I'm probably a dinosaur to you guys. But because I'm a dinosaur to my niece and she's 19. So old is very relative to the people. You know what? I don't think I'll get to that age. I won't get to what I consider old, most likely. Just because of my family's family medical history and stuff like that. I know that I'll most likely go around the age of 65 to 70. And, unless I get really lucky. So I know that I'm a little bit past the middle of my life. Now, does that scare me? Not really. Like, I think about mortality all the time. It doesn't really affect me. Every time I ride my motorcycle, I think I might die that day. So, I mean, it's not like I'm scared. It's just a inevitability that happens when do really fun, stupid stuff. I've never been a person that would care if I died. If I died, I would just die. I'm not a religious person. But, at the same time, if there happened to be something, I'd be like, hey, what's up, God? You know me? We share 2 letters, bro. Come on, let me in the club. I'll draw everybody. Yeah, God, I'll draw you. I'm a charming person. I'll talk my way into heaven. If there is heaven. I'll talk my way into hell, too, to see all the hot girls that went there. I am 38. See, okay, one thing that would keep me from wanting to live to the age of like 200 is seeing every single person that I know die. That would stop me. Like seeing just experiencing my mom dying was the most painful thing I have ever experienced in my life. I can't imagine always outliving people you love. Like, see, I understand why every single time that they like represent an immortal person, they're so cold and distant. It's mostly probably because it's just so hard to be emotionally connected to someone and then outlive them every time. That'd be insanely hard. So, no, I think I'll take my like 65 to 70 years and then just like end it on my own terms. Like find the most epic way to go out before I become a dependency on anyone else, and then just leave like a badass legacy behind, right? I think I'm a person that has helped enough people in my life that I can say that I'm a good human being. Okay, that I redeemed most of the bad things that I might have done when I was younger, and I can probably say that if I died, I wouldn't really be that sad. And like I said, it's something that I really think about a lot. I live by myself. I don't have anybody like taking care of me and like checking in on me every day or something. So there might be a day when Rod just does not wake up. And people just will not realize that I'm not there just because I don't post, and then maybe a couple weeks later they'll be like, "Hey, what happened to that guy? He used to post all the time." And then, eventually, maybe a couple weeks down the line, maybe a family member would try to call. And like when I didn't answer, they probably would still wait like another month before even checking in on me and like seeing if I was alive. So I have to make sure that my place is clean, because the dead body smell is going to be horrible for whoever comes in like 3 months later. And they'll probably discover it because I don't pay my rent. That'll probably be the reason. They'll probably just come in. So, that was a big fear of mine when like my ex-girlfriend broke up with me. It was a tough thing because I don't like living on my own because of that fear. I have a terrifying fear of just, experiencing something horrible at night and then just dying. But you know what? Over time, you just get used to it. It doesn't scare you anymore. And it's just, you come to realize that you have to be hyper reliant on yourself. And kind of, you got to be dependable to yourself. And that's a tough one. And I know a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, what the fuck is this guy talking about? See, my family, we moved to the United States when I was very young. So we didn't really have any support or family over here. So we learned how to rely on ourselves a lot, right? Because we all had to, handle our shit so that we could survive over here. Now, over the years, over 20 years or so, like the citizenship thing happened for us, and that was amazing. But until then, you learn to be very reliant on yourself. I started working when I was like 14. Okay, I learned how to start making money around 14, and then I was just a constant like hustle from that point on. But what I'm trying to say with that is that we stick together, we stuck together, and we always lived together as a unit because we didn't want to be apart from each other. When you don't have any other family members or anybody close by, your immediate family is literally the only thing you have. So most of my life, I lived with my family because to look out for them. My parents have medical issues, so we were constantly like worrying about them too. And eventually, like you end up just moving in with a girlfriend or something like that, and then you end up not seeing him as much, which is also like, so it's really hard because I very few times in my life I've experienced living on my own, besides from being to college and yeah, like maybe a little tiny like amount of span that I was just like traveling around, but I've never really lived on my own. So it's weird. I wake up and there's nobody there. Like I come home, there's nobody there. And it's like, huh, I can do whatever the hell I want. But at the same time, that's the problem. I can do whatever the hell I want. So if I'm not good with decisions, it's horrible. Like if let's draw a superhero. Let's try to draw a superhero. Let's draw Batman. Yeah, let's draw Batman. Okay, so every good and bad decision rests on me, right? And that amount of accountability is much more than most people like to have. Like honestly, if I could say like, oh, I wish I could say that my apartment's messy because of somebody else, but no, my apartment's messy because of me. Let's be honest. I'm just, a little messy. Now, if somebody else comes into my life, I know that I'm the messy one. So now I can understand that what I need to fix about the situation, right? I have to be accountable to myself to be able to even see that. But it's the first time in my life that I really am acknowledging like the things that are my problem, not other people's problems, my problem. And the things that I am falling like down on, and the things that I was really bad at when I was in relationships with people, right? Those are the things that are like coming to light right now for me, and it's interesting because I've never had to reflect on that. I've never had to be like, oh my God, I hate cooking. Why is cooking so horrible? And then, expect somebody else to cook for me. I can't do that. Like I can't hate something and then expect somebody else to do it for me. So that is essentially a weird little side rant about me living by myself and thinking about dying. Okay, essentially, right here. I'm doing the exact same thing that we did up here with the mask, but I'm just breaking it down into slightly more geometric shapes because I want to come up with more angles. I want to come up with more like sides to my surfaces so that I can create a more dynamic Dark Knight. Let's make this. And as you can see as well, I'm drawing incredibly light with my pen. So pen pressure, especially when you're drawing with pen, is absolutely necessary. Like, if you press a little too hard, that line is permanent, and it's going to be very, very hard to get out. So you have to be very, very meticulous with your pen pressure. Everyone needs that experience to become independent. Okay, yeah, I love that meme where it's like, Jesse, get your weapons! Your training has prepared you for this. And it's like, I didn't have any training. And it's essentially what adults have to go through. For example, I never learned about taxes. Like it was very well into my adulthood that I learned that I had to pay taxes. I didn't know how to do taxes because I never really paid taxes. Like, and then when I did, it was like a big backlog of like, oh my God, how many taxes do I have backed up? How much? And it was a huge problem. My parents, never really explained that to us. School doesn't explain that to you. And, I had to learn about investing and stuff like that on my own, which I'm still not amazing at all. But, I'm trying to learn so that I don't have to, rely on other people knowing things that I don't about my future, right? If I'm going to invest in something and I don't know how investing works, I'm just gambling that the person's not going to fuck it up or, steal my money. When you don't understand something, it just becomes a gamble, right? And if you don't take the time to understand that thing, then you're not even gambling. At that point, you're just setting yourself up to lose. And it's harder than it seems. I know. I understand that because I am still struggling with understanding finances to a certain extent. I'm just not. I was never really focused on that. I was focused on building a career, and then I relied on the other people in my life to be able to cover those areas for me. But now that I don't have that, and I don't have that ability to rely on someone, I'm starting to realize, holy shit, I'm like a fucking man child. I eat cereal every day because I don't know how to cook things properly. I, yeah, like I eat frozen food because I don't know how to cook vegetables right. So I'm like, I don't even know what to get at the grocery store, for God's sakes. And that comes from being in a family in which I was not even allowed to be in the kitchen, right? All right, so now Batman's gonna have a big chin. Yeah, some of my aunts and stuff wouldn't allow us to like as like boys to go into the kitchen and like learn. Not that we really were looking to, because they cooked amazing. So why would you want somebody else to do that? But once you have to do it on your own, you realize how much work it is, how hard it is to actually cook, and to cook yummy. Let me put it like that. Yeah, cooking yummy is fucking hard. Okay, cooking good food is hard. Like, yeah, the next woman that comes into my life that knows how to cook, like, they're just gonna get swept off their feet. Like, here, feed me, make me fat, do it. I dare you. He's always brooding too. Uh, yeah, I swear to God, give me a give me a nerdy girl that loves anime, knows how to cook, and likes going out to work out. Ah, man. Yeah. See, thinking about that made me draw him smiling. Wow. Just thinking about that made me draw a happy Batman. But we can make him frustrated still. Don't worry. It's a facial expression. We can change it with the change of a lip. But now he's biting his lip. She don't exist, bro. You know, I think they do. I think they do. But I think that they just don't, they're not looking. Like they're not like that woman is not worrying about where I am. And that's what I like. Like that woman that I'm describing is not waiting for some dude to like sweep her off her feet. She's just doing her shit. She's handling her shit. And then one day, if I'm lucky, I'll meet her. And I'm not a person of fate or anything. But, if they're as busy as I am, as dedicated as I am into the things that they do, They're gonna be like me. They're not gonna be looking out at a bar. They're not gonna be like actively going on social like dating sites. They're just gonna handle their shit. They're gonna play their games. They're gonna do their crap. They're not concerned about getting fucked up. They're not concerned about getting like, you know, crazy with the girls and shit. If they're anything like me and like minded, they're probably home working on their own hustle, on their own creations, their own amazing shit. And then maybe one day through our beneficial, like mutual awesomeness, we'll get to meet. And then if we do, that'll be it. Because we'll see, so many things in common that it will be awesome. But again, I'm not going to meet my ideal girl at a bar. Ever. Because I don't want women that go to bars. I don't drink. I drink very rarely, and I'm very, very cautious around people that do. Most of the worst things that have happened in my life are due to people that drink. So I don't really trust people who drink. I'll be your best friend. I'll be your best buddy. But you'll never, like, I will never put my trust, complete trust, in somebody who likes to get intoxicated. See, now, I do other things. I don't drink, but I do enjoy my other substances, in which, like, Legal Mary J is a good one. Just to not say the words, I absolutely love it. It helps me relax. It keeps me stress free. Not that I condone anybody doing it, but if you're old enough, do it. If you're not, wait until you're old enough and then make your decision then. Not simple. To each their own. But, alcohol has never been my thing. It just makes me feel like garbage. Like, if it didn't make me feel so horrible the next day, maybe I'd be more inclined to, like, drink more, but it's just like, eh. Yeah, as long as you're happy and you're not hurting anybody else, like, do whatever the hell you want. Act like a cat. Identify as a rabbit. Whatever you want, man. Like, as long as you're not hurting anybody else and trying to tell anybody else what to do, then do the fuck whatever the hell you want. All right, so we have the base shade for our Batman, which is like a purple, and now we're gonna start adding darker tones in not in black, but in like a blue, and we're gonna start adding some darker tones using only like saturation, not like shades of black, but we're going with more color saturation to create shadows. So it's not necessarily that the blue is darker than the purple or whatever the violet that I put on before. It's just a higher concentrated amount of color within that tone, so it creates a deeper color. And that's why color theory is so cool and like interesting. If you are not into it and you haven't really like played around a little bit with color theory, I highly recommend it. It's a really fun skill. It's kind of like learning the shade, but you learn how colors interact with each other instead of light and shadow. It's more like tones and complementary colors and stuff like that. Yeah, and I don't really keep up with the news either, but I heard that like some horrible shit is happening. Like, so it's like, wow, like people just need to just keep their shit to themselves, man. Like, do like I said, if it doesn't fucking affect you, don't like try to do shit about it. Jesus. Anyways, I won't get too political or anything here because that's not the point of these streams. But I gotta say, it's very upsetting. It's incredibly upsetting. And if you're not aware of what's going on, please inform yourselves, because this affects men and women, and it affects everybody. I'm just gonna say, if you are a person that enjoys going out and like sleeping around, please, please, for the love of fucking God, wear a condom right now. Okay? Like, don't go out and like do stupid things that are gonna affect you the rest of your life. Just wear a condom. I have a feeling a lot of very bad life decisions are gonna be about to be made by a lot of people. All right, let's give his lips a little bit of color so that the teeth pop out a little bit. And the only reason that I add a little bit of pink is because I don't have peach tone on me, and I need to make those teeth look white. So if I don't add a different color outside of it, it doesn't look white. It's gonna look like that. It's gonna look just bland. But now we made it pop a little bit more, and now we can make him bleed too. Like maybe he just got in a fight. There you go. Yeah, that looks so much better. Yeah, boy. There you go. Haha. Okay, now the last step is going to be to go in afterwards and go in with our marker. America is just a complete mess. Oh, yes. Oh, hell yeah. Our country is fucking shit right now, man. Like, it's been like that for a while. Like I don't know what the hell is going on, man, but like in the last like 5 6 years, this country's been like, whew. Like I have never wanted to move back to Mexico, but at the end of the year, I think I might be. Uh, it's just it's just so bad here. Like people are gonna start leaving very quickly if they have options. Any country out there need a really cool artist to draw in their country? If you guys do, put a vote. I will allow kidnappings on Mondays through Fridays. International people, please let me know so I can update my passport. And feel free to kidnap me and take me hostage, ask for ransom, whatever. Just feed me. Give me a little sketchbook. I survive off peanut butter and cereal every day, so I'm perfectly okay. I'm not a picky person. All right, we got Batman, and we can't have Batman without a bat signal or like a little city. So we're gonna just draw a little city in the back, and the city we will make with tones of gray and black, so that the color from the shirt or from his outfit pops out. Now I'm also going to add this color of gray so I can break up the color between the white of the face and the white of the page. Contrast is absolutely key in most illustrations, but very little amount of people actually focus on that. Like we talked about that here with Beefmaster 500. We were talking about how making different elements of the robot different tones helps accentuate everything, and why even adding a little bit of color outside of the white areas is perfect to enhance that drawing, right? If I didn't have these, it would look kind of bland. Now it just pops. Same thing with anything that you want to accentuate on a page. You got to make sure that you can, see it. So if we have sketches like these, right, like the really simple ones like these, if I didn't add these like little plumps of color, they would look incredibly bland and boring, kind of like they do here and this one. But if I add just a tiny bit of color to this, and I'm going to do that right now, you'll see like it just enhances even the most simple sketch. Let's take this guy. Now that dude pops. Now he's a focal point. Oh, it's not a marker. This is just like a watercolor brush, like one of those weird little pens that they like sell with that hold water. And I have a 99-cent watercolor kit. A 99-cent watercolor kit. I got at the thrift shop, at the dollar store. That's it. Like that's all you need. Like you don't need like expensive brand name shit. It's nice if you have it and you have the ability to have them. Yeah, of course it's nice, but it doesn't make you a better artist because you have that. So a lot of the time, since I draw so much, like I'm constantly drawing like one or two of these pages a day just for fun. And now if that's not counting the times that I have to do work for clients and I got to do work for people, now I have like maybe like 2-3 sketchbooks that just get filled every other couple months because I'm filling those up with like client work. But for the most part, you know, if you're just going to sketch a lot and practice for yourself, you don't really need any of that shit. You don't need expensive stuff. Just get something that kind of works and looks good. And I personally, I'm a very big fan of the watercolor and ballpoint pen. So to me, that like this look looks awesome. Like ballpoint and watercolor to me almost looks like a complete illustration without having to do it as a complete illustration. I've never seen watercolor thing like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I just diluted a lot, so it kind of works like a highlighter. And then as the brush gets drier, you can add texture. You just got to learn to control the tool like a little bit, and that's pretty much it. That's what it comes down to. Like any tool can be mastered as long as you like take the time to understand how it can work. And like, for example, the dry part of it is one of the parts that I love the most, but it doesn't last long. So you have to like get it wet, dry it out, and then again. It's not a very exact tool. But that's also the beauty of it. The beauty that it's not precise and not exact is also the reason that I love it. Because it gives you an uneven like texture to your art. And that provides it like a nice natural tone to it. It doesn't look too refined, it doesn't look too perfect. And when things don't look perfect, they look pretty damn awesome. All right, we have space for one more drawing. What should we draw? A warrior cat? That's what makes the difference between a tablet and a paper. No, not really. I mean, the tablet is just another tool. The tablet is not bad or good. It's just another tool. Just like I have watercolors, I can have highlighters, I can have inking tools, you know, of every shape and size, every single tool you can think of. All these are tools. My tablet is just another tool. It's not cheating or anything. They're both just tools. Your art that comes out of whatever you do, that's just you. Now, I can draw the same way, exactly like this, on the tablet. I can, very easily. It just provides me easier tools to do it with. Okay? When people start saying, I don't do digital because it's cheating. I don't do digital because the computer does everything for me. Those people don't know what the hell they're talking about. I was having a discussion with someone. I went to see Buzz Lightyear yesterday with my friend. And we were talking before, and this guy was very, very upset that Tim Allen did not make the voice of Buzz. And I was like, but the movie looks fucking amazing. How can you possibly care so much about the voice actor? He's like, oh no, it's not like old school animation. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh dear God. Oh dear God, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, people nowadays, the only thing they need to do is draw on a computer and then they just press a button. Oh dear God. The turtle guy, draw Raphael. Okay, I'll draw Raphael. The guy was so adamant on saying that what they do in movies is no longer art because he didn't understand what it takes to do something like a movie like that, right? So we went back and forth maybe like a good 30 minutes, discussing the aspects of like what he thought was art and what I thought, was like just an absolute masterpiece, regardless of what the story was about. The ability to create what they created for that movie was just an astronomical feat. Like that was an amazing movie. The look was astonishing. So it ended up being that the guy was very ignorant about what it takes to create an actual movie. He did not respect computers because apparently computers took his job or something like that. Apparently, I have no idea how that is even a thing, but it just seemed like the most stupid, like, reason for not even considering 3D animation in art form. I went to school for 3D animation, and I still can't tell you how they did all the stuff that they did in those movies. Right? I don't know how. Like, it's magic to me. So it's like, it's just so upsetting to see somebody that's willing to put down an entire art form just because they don't understand it. And yes, it's incredible for all of you out there that still think that 3D animation is easy. No, 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 my friends. You have literally no idea of how much technical knowledge is needed to be able to even make something move remotely good on a computer. Okay? It's the reason that it's required to have computers doing it is because the calculations to be able to do that would be impossible for a team of humans to do it. Right? And they're using that as a tool. Everything is a tool. Your inability to create things with that tool doesn't negate the fact that it's a tool. It just means that you have an inability to create something with it. It doesn't diminish the ability of the tool. I do canvas painting, but since I use Procreate now, she does not appreciate my art in digital. Hey, that's just ignorance. Like, how can someone not appreciate something because it's done with better tools? Because it is better. Like, if I could get the same feel of a ballpoint pen, I would probably use my computer strictly and I would never use paper. It would be easier to create content. It'd be easier to make money with it. Like, if you do not know digital art and you're trying to be an artist for a living, I don't know what, like, era you think you live in. But if you are not doing digital art, you are missing out on thousands of dollars. You are missing out on so much money just for being stubborn. Like, stubbornness, if you're struggling and you don't do digital art and you're an artist, then the struggle is just completely your fault. Because money is there to be made in every aspect of art. And cutting out the digital aspect of it is essentially cutting off like 70% of your market. You're essentially saying, everybody, I don't want to sell you something. That's essentially what you're saying when you say, oh, I don't do digital art because of blah, 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 blah. Whatever dumb excuse you have, there is cheap and incredibly free digital software. You do need a computer, but, you know, odds are most people have computers nowadays. You know, most people have a computer that can work with a free software. If you have a computer, you have access to digital programs. Your inability or your lack of wanting to actually take the time to learn it might be a bigger concern than the fact that digital art is cheating. Think about why you don't want to do it. Is it because it's hard? Is it because it's going to take a while to learn? If any of those resonate, and that's the reason why you're not doing it, then you can't blame people that know how to do it and, you know, think that their art form is less than yours just because you don't want to learn. You don't want to take the time to do the hard thing that they did to learn that program. That is what annoys the living hell out of me most of the time when I talk to people like that guy. It's like he never took the time to understand something that he has no fucking clue about. And that whole discussion was just because he diminished the whole movie because of a voice actor, but he can't appreciate all the magnificence that comes along with an animation like that. Like I could put that, like I told the guy, I could put that movie on mute and I would still love it. Because I know how hard it is to create the things that they created. So I would be in awe just from the visual aspect of it. All right, so I did recently watch like one of those YouTube videos where they explain like comic books, and I watched The Last Ronin, and oh my god, that was so good. The Last Ronin was amazing. Now, I won't spoil it for you guys, so but go see it. If you have YouTube, go see a video on The Last Ronin. That's how the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tales ends, by the way. Alright, so we have that. Let's a little bit more green to create shadows. And the beauty of watercolor is that I'm using that exact same green, just with a tiny bit of that brown that I used that's left over from the brushing over here. And it just darkens it up just enough to create a fun shadow. Those videos are so bad for the artists of those books. Actually, I don't know about that. I never would have known about that comic if that was the case. But I guess I see your point. But it's not necessarily the artist that's suffering. It's more like the publication house. So, and if I'm correct, it's not like many artists get that many royalties anymore. I think they get paid per project. I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure. I haven't been in the any comic book negotiations in a long time, so I could be completely wrong, and you might be right. Okay, you see how I got a little bit of red inside of the eye? All we're gonna do is we're just gonna use our white gel pen, and we're just gonna paint a dot over it. But we gotta wait for it to dry. Now, in order to make this green pop, we need to give it a background, kind of like we did with Batman, right? since it's a pretty dark green, I gotta go pretty dark. So since he lives in the cities as well, I'm just going to make a continuation of that cityscape. And immediately it makes the color of the green look a lot lighter. Immediately. Because now we have a really dark tone contrasting against a really slightly lighter tone, and it's just making that darker tone of the green look so much lighter. It also looks like it has more color. It looks like it's more saturated because it's next to a completely desaturated color. Okay. Doopy-doopy-doopy-doo. And that's without even adding bold lines that I'm going to do right now. So I'm just going to wait for this to dry for a second. I'm going to add a little bit more green with a little bit of that black still to the neck to create that shadow that I like. Okay. All right, so now, okay, before we finish this guy up, I want you guys to try to hit that little heart button for me if you learned anything from me today. That is the way that I measure what I should be talking about, what I should not be talking about, and what you guys like and don't like. So please, if you guys did get anything from this video so far, click that little heart button, show me you love me. There is a different way that you guys can support as well. I don't like pushing anything or sending me money, donations, or whatever. Please don't necessarily do that. But I would love it if you guys could go join up to my YouTube account and my Instagram account. They are under the same name, Rodgon the Artist. I post incredible content for you guys to see pretty much every day. And a lot of things that you guys will probably get a big kick out of. Follow me on Instagram will help you keep up to date with everything that I do, since I post absolutely everything about my life there. And if you have any questions, that's probably the more likely source for me to be able to answer those questions. I do have books for sale as well in my store. You can find the link through here, or you can find it through my Instagram link. And I have books in the way of sketchbook books. If you love just watching my doodles and want to see the best 20 or so years of my life in one nice big book, you can buy Coffee Break Doodles. If you guys enjoy pinups and really hot ladies, I do have... Oh, let me see. I have the book here. I do have it. Okay, so Coffee Break Doodles. Oh, don't mind this. I dropped alcohol on the cover. It looks really nice normally. Coffee Break Doodles and pinups book. So Coffee Break Doodles is just a big collection of a bunch of doodles that I've done over the years and a couple lessons that will help you along your journey, right? So, and then Pinups is a digital ebook of all the pinups that I've done in a long time. So those are the two books you guys can help support with. That's the only thing that I have for sale. So, oh, no, I also do auctions for little tiny post-it ones. I do post-it art, and I auction it off in my Instagram as well. And I post one every couple days or so, and that's the best way to get original sketches from me. So, yeah, if you see one you like, make sure to bid. They start off at $20, and they tend to go for like $30, $40 most of the time. So, if you guys want to ever get an original piece of me for mine, I sell those in a nice little floating frame that looks awesome. All right, with that, I think we are done for our lesson for today. Let's recap a little bit of what we learned. We drew the Beef. This is from yesterday. We drew Beefmaster 500. I do the lives here. I do my lives on TikTok because I can save my videos and upload them later. I don't do them on Instagram anymore, mostly because it doesn't let me have that liberty with my content. They kind of only restrict it to being able to be posted on Instagram. So TikTok has won my heart because it allows me to do this, reach a lot of people, and as well be able to save it so I can share it with my lovely people from the other content. And that's it. So we drew ears. We learned about ears, how to draw ears in different ways, and how to actually understand what you're drawing, even if you're simplifying it. Okay. Then we drew Batman, and we talked a bunch about like super weird, like almost political stuff, but I don't want to talk about that, so you can skip through that if you watch the replay. And then we drew Raphael because you guys suggested it and because it was a really cool idea. Thank you all so much for following my stream. You guys are amazing. Make sure to log in next time. If you do see me live, ask your questions. You never know, I might be able to answer them. So next time we will think about some... Oh, actually, you know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start allowing the people that stay at the end of the stream to dictate what we will learn next. How about that? So I want you guys to list a few things that you guys want to do for the next stream, and we will write them down right now, and we will lock them in, and we will draw that at midnight tonight. So what should we draw tomorrow or tonight, guys? Let me know. Just drop it in there. I'm going to write them right now. I want little hearts, and I want you guys to suggest some things right now. Emotions, cartoon animals, and how to design characters. You got it. Those three were the first ones. So emotions, cartoon animals, and how to design characters. You lovely people that stayed till the end, that is going to be what we're going to be doing in the next stream. Come join us at midnight. And if you want to learn how to draw full-scale bodies, we did that stream maybe like 3 weeks or like a week ago. And we talked about the entire structure of the body. So go look for this video on my YouTube. Okay? I will never be able to explain it better than I did here. So a lot of those have already been talked about, guys. Go look at my Instagram and my YouTube. I've talked about a bunch of those before. Okay? Thank you all so much. Remember, if you want to support, there is things you can do to support. But if you want to support and you don't have money, just sign up to my Instagram and my YouTube account. You guys will be helping me more than you think. Thank you all so much. The sketchbook that I use are Danique sketchbooks. And if you guys type in Rodgon 15, you guys get 15% off. These guys are awesome. And they're not expensive. They're fantastic books. And like... I highly, highly, highly trust them. Tell them that Rodgon sent you, and they'll make sure to give you a discount. Talk to you later. Love you all.